Okay, hi ho, I look like shit, but it's beside the point, not the important issue here at hand. So, aside from the fact that YouTube entirely deleted my entire last channel with all the information, everything it had, I got a notification recently that one of my older videos on this channel called placebo or not placebo, that is the question. Placebo or not placebo, that is the question. And yeah, I mean, I rambled a little bit and everything, but the point that I was trying to make was whether that these scientific studies that the scientists and doctors and experts are all relying on, how they're actually done, and reading how the studies are actually done, and whether they are even, like, for example, a new substance or a vaccine or medication, and when they are testing it with a group of people, whether the group of people they are comparing it to, which is supposed to be a placebo or controlled group, meaning like whatever the controlled placebo group is getting is supposed to be basically akin to nothing. Okay, and nobody knows. A double blind placebo trial done properly is that there are two groups of people in the trial, and one group is getting the substance that they are testing, and the other group is getting nothing, but they're given something similar so that they can't, like, mentally psych themselves out of it. Okay, so if group A the test group is getting an injection or a pill, then the control group or placebo group will still get a pill or an injection, but it's supposed to be inert, like a sugar pill or a saline or a true placebo. If you read the actual studies on this stuff, it will tell you that the control group is not actually getting a placebo. For example, in the MMR vaccine trials, the new MMR vaccines, or whatever they are being tested against just the latest version of the MMR, or a similar version of the MMR. So when they report statistics and say that there is no statistical difference between the groups, and you're assuming that one of the groups was a true control or placebo, then you think, oh, it must not be harmful, because if the results were the same for both groups and one of the groups was a true placebo or control, then the actual substance is not much different than the placebo or the control. However, when they're not really using a true placebo or control, and they're just using another MMR vaccine, or in terms of the, what is the Gardasil shit? That's one of the worst ones. They had multiple people die in both groups of the study, because they were actually giving an amped up, over, like, stronger version of the shot in the control group. And I'm sorry, guys, for the ums and hesitation. I'm just and a diluted version of it for the actual test group. So they diluted the version of the shot that the test group was getting, and they strengthened the version of the shot that the control or placebo group was getting, and multiple people died in both groups because they were both getting the freaking poisonous substance. But when they go on the news or make an advertisement and say, oh, there was no difference between the groups, there was no difference between the control group and the placebo group, oh great, that all sounds great and wonderful, until you look up how the study was done and realize that the control group was not a control group, and the control group was actually getting the same thing or something similar or even something worse than the test group. So, you know, they're using play on words, they're using language to trick people, and it's only if you go and actually read the studies. Now, most doctors and experts are not reading these studies. They believe and trust the authorities who tell them that the studies have been done and that the studies are tried and true or whatever. And they're also basing all this on an entire paradigm that they've been indoctrinated with all their lives. So, like, just because the CDC puts out a poster and says, oh, we recommend these many shots or these shots or whatever, and your doctor parrots that or repeats it, does not mean that your doctor actually read the studies or has a fucking clue what he's even talking about. They're just going by the guidelines and trying not to lose their job. So, anyways, I did like a 20-minute rant on placebo shit some years back, and apparently all of a sudden now it violated community guidelines. So just saying, I just wanted to, there's so much stuff that I really want to talk about seriously and cover on my channel, and just, oh goodness gracious, personal life, and not wanting to repeat or obsess over certain things or rabbit holes, because what we really got to be focusing on is truth and wellness and manifest. Well, I don't want to even use that word. Like, even just using words is so weird these days. So anyways, placebo or not placebo, read the studies. Are they using real placebos or not? What constitutes a placebo or a double-blind controlled study? What constitutes, and then another thing, peer review. I've heard so many people who go on about, well, it was a peer-reviewed paper, or it was a peer-reviewed this. Well, have you ever read any studies on the peer review process, or know how it works, or anything like that, or statistically how accurate it is? Because I can guarantee you it's not what you think. And so parroting peer review or lack of peer review really means nothing. So I guess, it all just falls in line with my general mantra, which is critical objective thinking with open minds and open hearts. Love you all. And thank you for being here.